Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hashtag for the culture, University of the Lights, and this is part 5B. All right, not part 6. All right, round 1. I need a light. Okay, let me stop share screen this. Open panel 325.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Ringo TV Reactions. I'm your host, Ringo. We are back again with another Power Pack video. What we're going to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen, is the 12 tribes of Israel chart that the Black Hebrew Israelites have put together. I'm here to tell you that it's false.
You're gonna cook the nation,
Something
and
that
I
we
will cook. Well, it's true. It is
after
really true.
leaving the Black Hebrew Israelite cult, Most High
You want to be in that
instructed
Christian
me
cult. You want to be back because
deal
they are a
with
lot
this
worse
situation here
than
that
the Israelites, the
is one of the
higher
reasons why we
Black
have so
Hebrew
many problems
Israelites.
within the
See,
Black community
Christians are a lot
is
worse.
because
He's number one.
this chart here is wrong.
Catholic,
And
Pentecostal, Baptist,
what's so sad about this
they
is
go number one
all of
worse.
the
White
militant,
supremacy.
radical Israelite hate groups,
Okay,
they're the ones
we
that put
militant,
this chart
but
together.
we ain't anti-Semitic
And
and we
even
not
till this
radical.
day, a
I
lot
can
of Black
guarantee you
Hebrew
that.
Israelites believe in this thing. So now, let's go through the chart and kind of
The real
get familiar
natives,
with
the real
what we
Latin
can all come up to
Americans, the
speed with
original
here.
natives, the
So
original
now,
Latin Americans are us.
according to the Black Hebrew Israelites, they say that
Descendants of
if
Eve.
you're of the tribe of Judah,
Come
then
on,
you are an American black, meaning the blacks that are in America,
we are the original
they're
gen.
the tribe of Judah.
Judaism.
This is what they say. There is no scripture in the Bible that says if you're a black man, black woman in America, that
Yeah, the original
you
people,
are of the tribe of Judah.
so-called Americans, like Americano.
There's no scripture that says that, but this is what
Okay,
they believe.
you
So
would be
let's say, hypothetically
the
speaking,
scripture that's right for you.
you have a young man who is from Haiti. His father's from Haiti, and I guess his father had a son,
Yeah,
and
Levi,
that
Haitian.
son was born in America. Then that son had a son that was born in America,
Yeah,
and then he had a son that was born in America.
mm-hmm.
Is that young man now of the tribe of Judah because he's a black man in America?
Yeah, yeah, Levi, Judah.
This is where the madness comes in.
Come on,
Because when you
this is
study
your
the
man.
12 tribes, they stuck together. In today's day, everybody's all over the place. So it's not like you could look
All
at a
over the
person and be
place
like, okay,
because of the
that
B
person is a
system.
part of my
B
tribe,
system
or that
is
woman
all
is a
over the
part of my
place.
tribe,
Not the
or marry
Black Hebrew
women that are within your
Israelites.
tribe.
It's the B system.
Nobody knows nothing because this chart
Come on, man.
has
How
totally
is
brainwashed a lot of us. So now let me
scroll
run down the chart just to
case
give you some
came from
understanding.
so-called Black people
It says
representing?
Judah are the American blacks. Benjamin is the
Yeah,
West Indian blacks.
yes,
Levi is the
yes. That's
Haitians.
the West
Ephraim is
Indians
the Puerto
originally are
Ricans.
so-called Black. Hey, that's the Puerto
Manasseh
Ricans
is the
originally
Cubans.
so-called Black.
Simeon is
You the
Dominicans.
Reese's,
Zebulon is
Zebulon,
Guatemala
eat
to
so-called
Panama,
Black.
right? Gad is American
All,
Indians, which is
all of
interesting
us
how
been
Gad is the
everywhere.
American
There's a
Indians,
book out there.
but
And you're
Judah
getting
is the American
so-called
blacks.
Black, the true
Make
Israelites.
it
You
make
got the
sense, right?
modern days who
Reuben
are like us
is
but ain't
what
us.
is called the Seminole Indians.
You got the Spain
Let's see
learners
who else we
that's
got.
in
Asher
the
is
Israelite
Columbia to
but they know what's
what is it?
going on.
Columbia
But they
to
not the
Berubagate,
original
whatever
so-called
that is, right? Issachar is
It's called
mixed.
so-called Black.
So all all of the
Mexicans, you know,
Mexicans,
there's some
they're now
statues
Hebrew
of
Israelites
us
now, right?
in Mexico
And
that
they're
are
saying that they're
that are
of the
us.
tribe of Issachar. Where they get
Come
this
on.
stuff from, I don't know.
No, the stuff is right
Naphtali,
in your
they're
face.
saying that
I'm
if you're
keeping
of
it
the
a
tribe
buck.
of
It's right
Naphtali,
there. The
you're
truth is
from
right there.
Argentina to Chile, right?
You
So
brainwash.
this is what the chart
Argentina
suggested, right? So
with
now
all the
in today's
statues
day,
of people
2025,
continue to
um,
their
the Black
statues of
Hebrew
us.
Israelites,
Big
they
eyes with
live by
those
this chart. This chart
come on,
actually
man.
means everything to
Even
them.
it's a
This chart is
organization of
everything.
Islam.
Um,
Come on now.
they got to find themselves on this chart in order to feel good about themselves. In other
No,
words,
you feel good about
if you're
yourself.
Puerto Rican,
You feel
the
good
Black Hebrew Israelites
and
will
you're no
make you
longer
believe
a
that
black Hebrew.
yeah, you're an Israelite. You're of the tribe
See,
of
the 12
Israel.
tribes of
Yeah,
Israel in
you gotta
biblical
be
tradition
because you're Puerto Rican.
are descended from the 12
Um,
sons of Jacob,
yeah. If you're
so-called black
Haitian,
men.
yeah, you're of the
12
tribe of Levi.
so-called black men.
Hmm.
We name Israel. These tribes were
You
Rubens,
Jamaican or whatever the
Simon,
case is,
Levi, Judah,
yeah,
Dan,
you're of Benjamin.
Leprechaun,
Any
God,
any any
Asher,
of you West
Issachar,
Indies blacks, you know what I'm saying?
Simeon,
Any of
Joseph,
you brothers in the West Indies,
Ephraim, and
you fall under Benjamin
Messina,
automatically,
and Bisbee.
right? There's no
Correct.
scripture that
Because I
tells you
did
that.
like multiple errors.
There's no bloodline test. There's nothing that we can give
Come
you.
on.
You're
Jacob,
just
so called
supposed to
black
believe
dad,
it,
have wives, raised
right?
so called
You're
black
supposed to believe that.
families,
There's
biblical
no scripture.
and
There's no
help me. Something came to
historical
portrait
event
of a
or
distant tribe.
historical
They were
information that
so
can
called
verify
black.
that your lineage is of
I'm keeping
the
it up.
tribe of Levi
Keep it
and
up.
you're Haitian. Nothing can give you a guarantee of that.
Nah,
And
nah.
this is what the Black Hebrew Israelite cult is telling us.
Come on, man. They
Now,
gonna get mad.
it's interesting. If you go
Come on.
down to
They say
Naphtali,
everything.
so now
Man.
all the men and the women in Argentina
Come
and
on,
Chile,
man. These
those are all
Christians,
Black Hebrew
these
Israelites
Christians
according
act
to
like they know
the
everything.
religion of
Come on.
Hebrew
This is
Israelitism,
a religion, and it's not
right?
a cult the higher
So,
thing in the religious
uh,
groups, yeah.
yeah.
But
So that
all
means
of
that
the
you
black
brothers
Hebrew
that are
Israelites would not like
black in
that.
America, you should be able to go down to Argentina and
Come
Chile,
on, it's some
and the
truth.
people over there,
Come on,
they
the
are
modern day
supposed to be
Spaniards
welcoming you with open
knows
arms. They're
this,
supposed to be
but like
welcoming you as
hide
brothers
things.
and sisters and say, "Wow, the tribe of Judah, come
We
on
are
in,
the
man.
tribal
Hey,
people.
all praises, shalom,
See,
shalom."
you see what this Uncle
But that's
Tom
not gonna
Clown is
happen,
doing?
because in most
Come
cases
on,
they don't even recognize you. But that's what we're taught to
they
believe
know, they
when
know,
you join the
but
cult.
they like to hide
So
shit.
now Neftali, and shout out to brother Neftali on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? He's got
Yeah,
a lot of back and
he's
forth
Uncle Tom.
with
He's so
Neftali
out.
over religious things. I
He's an
remember
Asian.
he used
You
to
know, we
come
talking
after the
about
Black Hebrew
new
Israelites,
breed, even though
and
we both went
a
to
lot of
them
Christians,
now.
we used to battle all the time.
And
And now
father, that they Asians.
I
You're
don't
the one
even
that's the
accept
Asian.
this anymore
You're
because
an
I follow the
Asian,
Most
Jacob.
High. I keep the commandments. I follow the Bible, but I'm just not into
See,
the whole
they
Black
they
Hebrew
took
Israelite
our
religion
Bible
anymore
and made it
because
their
there are
own.
too many
That's
lies.
what
First of
trap
all,
we were
we
in.
don't get along,
We
right?
do. Some of us get
It's a
along.
hate
Not
group
all
that
of us not
promotes
get
hate. That
along.
don't promote love. There's separation.
Come on. Some of
There are
us
so many
do
different
promote
camps
love.
in the
All of
Black
us not
Hebrew Israelite
separation.
community
You miss
that
points.
you
You
gotta
miss
laugh at sometimes. You really have
you
to
missing
laugh because it's like there's no
points
way
here.
we're all making it to the kingdom,
Come
and
on. You'd be
we're
harmless.
gonna be this
That's what
separated.
Bob was
Like
talking
it doesn't
about.
make any sense.
See, you'll go harm these
You got
you know, as
Israel
a
United in
Caucasian or
Christ.
Caucasian
You
crime,
have
they you
GOCC,
know
Gathering of
that
Christ
Caucasians
Church.
be
You
unalike
have
one another. They that
IUSIP.
police
I probably
be
got
killing
it wrong,
Caucasians for
but you
so
get what I'm
called
saying.
black people.
And there are so many different camps, and all of them are divided.
Come
They're
on,
not together.
that's what they want. The
So, but they
Babylonian
all agree upon
catapult.
this chart.
That's what they
This chart
want.
is gold.
You give them
So,
what they want.
if you're of
And
the
you go,
tribe
you,
of
like I said in
Issachar,
one of those lives,
you're
you
a
fighting with
Mexican
oppression. You fighting with
automatically.
oppression.
We don't need no Bible scripture to prove
That's what
that.
you want.
We don't
That's
need
not
no
good for the
DNA.
so-called black man.
If you're
Wage,
Mexican,
swallow, wake
according to the
up.
Black Hebrew
That
Israelite
is what
religion,
says, wake
you
up.
are of
Melvin
the
Edwards,
tribe
wake
of
up.
Issachar. I don't believe this no more. I don't believe nothing on this chart.
Dario
And the reason
is
being
more
is
smarter than you.
I know
She
it's
knows what's
wrong
going on. And I can't
because
believe
I
she
see
said
Hebrew
hello
Israelites
to you.
right now that are making claims
there
that
you
don't make no
go.
sense. You have a guy on
Come
YouTube
on, man.
named
Give me
New Breed Global
break up.
Truth. He got a
Yeah,
woman
black
pregnant, and
asses.
she's a
Hispanics.
migrant. This is
It's
what he told me.
making y'all
He told me that she's
so-called
a
black
migrant,
and down pat. I
and
was like that. I'm trying
she
to
was on a video,
fight
and she
oppression.
said verbatim, these are her words.
Come
She
on.
said that her
And all
father
FBA is not like
is a
that.
Spaniard from Spain,
Yeah, Spaniard
and
was fake to say
once she said a
Spaniard.
Spaniard
Because
from
the Moors,
Spain,
the
I'm
Muslim
like, okay,
Muslims
so he's
themselves
white. He's a white man.
their money
So
and buildings
that would
and
be end the
it's
story,
all
right? But no, what the new
come
breed
on.
guy did is he said, no, she's
He's going
Mexican.
to say about the
So she's a Hebrew
the
Israelite. And I'm like, huh.
transatlantic slave
So
trade.
so so let me get this straight. So
Transatlantic
pretty
slave
much
trade.
anybody can be a Hebrew Israelite. That's all I'm saying. Like anybody, if you want to put them on this
They
chart,
can
you
talk
can
about it,
make them become a
but they're
Hebrew
not
Israelite
true
by just
Allah's
making them
most high
believe
chosen
that
people.
they're a special person. So
Come on,
if you're Mexican,
so-called
according
black
to the Black
niggas
Hebrew
living
Israelite religion,
are made
you are of the
from our
tribe of
so-called
Issachar.
black mothers from the moon.
Anybody that's from
The
Colombia
architect used to use
to
that.
art to Arugi, whatever, you're of the tribe of Asher. If you were
The
to ask
chart,
the Black
the
Hebrew
chart
Israelites, could you show me a Bible
is
verse
telling the truth.
and tell me that this is true?
This is
They
true.
can't give you that.
This is true.
Rubens are the Seminole
This is the
Indians.
freaking truth right there.
Yeah, the Seminole Indians, according to the Black
Single
Hebrew
Indians,
Israelite religion,
the
they
original
believe that they
Seminole
are of
Indians
the
are
tribe of
so-called
Judah.
black
No
people.
scripture.
Eddie wants to know
We
that.
don't need no DNA.
Took the land
We
of our
don't need
people.
no historic
That's all.
fossils. We don't have to do no
We
bone
never
tests.
stole that. It was
We
ours
don't have to
first.
do nothing.
It was
We're
ours
just supposed to
first.
believe it. And that's what religion is for. Religion is for you to believe it,
See,
right?
the
So now,
true biblical
if you
Israelites
are
are
of
not
Gad,
only Christian,
you are an American,
come Christian, Muslim.
American Indian.
Come on, man.
But yet,
Even the
you got another
NOI
group called
tells the
FBA
truth.
who believe they're the foundational Black Americans.
Come on,
Well, if they're the
Muslims.
foundational Black
Muslims
Americans and
look,
Gads are the
boys and
American
Muslims came
Indians,
from the Vatican
then
order and
wouldn't Gad be the
Vatican.
foundational
You should know that.
Americans? See, this is why I keep telling
I
you that
slapped the
religion
teeth out your upper
is
top and
all bullshit.
my
At
stomach
the
is
end of the
falling.
day, it makes no sense.
It
And
makes
remember,
it
New
makes
Breed Global Truth said that he
talk
is
about newbie go
an
through.
FBA, a
You
foundational
know
Black
is
American.
you know what, man.
But according to the Hebrew Israelite
Come on.
chart, it says that
Even
Gads
newbie go through
are the
those
American
who are
Indians.
he's
So
also
who
a
was here first?
Freemason.
I'm telling you,
Come
the
on.
more you do
I
your
think
research,
that's no brainwave
the
chat.
more the Most High wakes
The
you up
rainbow was
from
the black
religion.
devil this time.
It's like
Not newbie. I
you
left
really
that this
you
time
really have
out.
to open your mind to
I
really see
left
the
that
things
out
that I'm
of
seeing,
a
Jack.
mistake.
So if you're a person who follow the FBA cult, religion, movement, whatever
FBA
you want to call it,
but
you believe that you are a
you doing a
foundational Black
rainbow
American.
code.
Well, not
That's
according
what
to the
you
Black
doing.
Hebrew Israelites. According to the Black Hebrew Israelites, Gad
Come on.
represents
Jacob, also
the
known as Hebrew,
American
has 12
Indians.
tribes. Yeah, you already
So
did
if we
with it.
believe that the American
That's the
Indians
origins. The
were
tribe
slaughtered,
of script,
right,
scripture.
and
The tribes
the
of
white
Naaman and
man
Asa are often
lined them up,
part of the tribe
then
of Joseph.
they would
Sometimes
technically be
referred
the
as the two half
foundational
tribes of Joseph.
Black
The tribe
Americans,
were
not
eaten after Jacob
Judah.
was
So
big
New Breed would be wrong
Israel
if he said that Judah is
structure
the
of the
foundational
ancient
Black
Israel.
Americans. That would be off
Legacy was 12
automatically
tribes played a
based on
crucial
this
role in
video
building
and
up
the
the ancient
logic behind it.
Israelites, shaping
So
their
it's just
social,
really crazy.
religious, and
Um,
previous history
if
life.
you're of the
This
tribe
is
of
so-called
Zebulon,
religion.
then you are someone from Guatemala to
It was
Panama. In other
something
words,
before religion, before
anywhere
the
in
agreement.
between Guatemala to
Okay, that
Panama,
was your technology.
you are of the tribe of Zebulon. This is what the Black Hebrew Israelite
See,
cult
one looking at
want
this,
you to
this is
believe.
whitewash.
So if if let's say for
This is
example,
not
I'm
dead.
from America, that's where I was
They made
born.
it so whitewashed
I
to
go
make it
to
believe who they are,
Guatemala
but that's not who
and
they
I
are.
have a son.
All right,
I wonder
this
if
is not
HoneyBook has
true.
any new clients for me today.
I wonder where
This
my
is
best
not
leads
real.
come from.
And my son grows up, become a man. He has a son,
Come on, man.
and they're all
Come
there.
on.
Then I guess he's of the tribe of Zebulon now.
See, all
Do
this is
you, do you see where we're going with that?
false, man.
Nobody's thinking about the fact of where I was
See,
born.
They
But
love
it's not
doing
even
this
about where I was
between
born.
the big
What about where my
movies
father
about
was
over
born?
top. Shout out to
And then
Kate.
what about where his father was born? And let's keep going back to where that father was born. See, this is why it's all BS.
No, you
This is why
BS.
this whole
You
chart
BS.
is a joke.
You're BS.
It's a joke.
Yo,
Yes,
you're the
I
truth.
believed it at one point, but that's
You
when I was
believe it
into
has a
religion.
point, but you
That's
want to
when I
go
was
back
following
so you get a
Judaism, when I was in the
subs
cult
views
of the
everything.
black
You're
community.
going.
Once
I
the
keep
Most High
telling you this,
started
I'm
showing
brother.
me
Give them
the
heads up.
the
He's gonna
culture,
ban it.
like my
He's
eyes
gonna
got open, and then when I was looking at this stuff, it was
ethnic
not
groups
making
of
any sense.
people.
It's like you look at it and you're like, dang, I
Y'all
get it.
gotta pay attention to what he's
Well,
saying.
that's what happens
This
when
is
you're ignorant.
misleading.
So now, when you
See?
go to the
See,
Dominican,
that's the black
shout out
thing.
to all the Dominican brothers and sisters out there. You know what I'm saying?
The Mexicans,
According to the
yes,
black
they
Hebrews,
so-called black, but they
they
like
are
to
of the
block a
tribe of
lie.
Simeon.
Say that they're not
So you know
so-called
the
black, they
tribe,
are.
aren't you?
Come on, I had a girl
And
a
even
couple of years
though
ago on the
you have
title deny
a
it.
lot of, the
Come on.
Asians
And I already know
you have
what had
a
happened at
lot
the
of
nightclub.
white
That was a blood
brothers in
sacrifice.
the truth, you got Dominicans. It's just really, really sad how you have all these infighting.
And they
If you
can
look
do
at all of these
resurrection.
tribes, um,
After the blood
where's
sacrifice,
that
it all
infighting at?
depends.
Where
Oh,
it
forget
literally
the pets.
says that if you're Dominican, you are of the tribe of Simeon. When did God come down and tell us this?
Come on.
I just want to know,
Come on now.
which one of these black Hebrew Israelite prophets, pastors, leaders, teachers, when have they ever gotten a burning bush moment with the Most High Yah that gave them this chart? Because we know Moses got the Ten Commandments
Oh my
on
God.
Mount Sinai. We know the Ten Commandments was given to him.
One hand washes the other.
But this chart, which prophet, which
And I can't
teacher
stop laughing.
went to the mountaintop and
I
got
can't
this
stop
chart
thinking that.
in stone, and it was written by the
Well,
hand of God?
that's the truth.
That prophet
The
that
truth
wrote
is the
that
truth.
book come forward and let us know
Truth
exactly
is the
where
truth.
did you get
The
this
truth
from.
is the truth.
See, a man
Oh,
put
help
this
me.
together based on his history, and this is how religion and indoctrination begins.
Come on. It's the
You get
truth.
a hold of it, you
It's,
believe it,
it's
and
true
now it becomes a part
documentation.
of your life. Now, if you are a Dominican, the
Come
black
on.
Hebrew Israelites will convince you that you're of the tribe of Simeon,
Come on, Ringo.
right? If
Come
you're
on.
Cuban, uh, the cult will say, "Hey, you're of the
I'm
tribe of
about to,
Manasseh." No doubt about it.
before I do this overpass, bro,
Right?
I'm going to have a
If you're
moment.
Puerto Rican,
And I have to
you're
step
of
outside.
Ephraim. But yet FBA had a problem with Fat Joe. Well, Fat
The
Joe
reason
was
why they
from
have a
Puerto Rico,
problem with Fat Joe,
which means
because
Fat
Fat
Joe,
Joe
according to the
was
black
being
Hebrew Israelite
racist.
religion,
Fat Joe
Fat
sold
Joe
out. Fat
was
Joe
literally
had
being
blood sacrifice on
anti-Israelite.
Big Pond.
But
Fat
yet,
Joe
the
had
Three Global Truth
didn't give
had a problem
money to
with Fat
Big
Joe.
Pond's
What I thought
wife
Fat
and
Joe
the
was a prophet.
kids. And
Why are
Big
we giving
Pond's
him a hard
wife
time?
was homeless.
Why are we
And
giving
she
him a
did not
hard time?
receive
Why would
anything.
FBA be
It
giving
was for Fat Joe
Fat
all for
Joe a
himself.
problem if
And
Fat
he
Joe is
had
Puerto Rican
mistreated
and
Big
he's supposed to be of the
Pond.
tribe of Ephraim? Shouldn't the tribe
Come
of
on, man.
Ephraim
Fat Joe is a freaking snake.
understand? Shouldn't the tribe of
Come on,
Judah
man. Fat Joe
reason
participate in these
with their
revolts. You should
brothers
know
from
that.
the other tribes? This is why the black Hebrew
Come on,
Israelite
man. Fat
chart
Joe was
is
on Martha
BS.
Stewart.
It's one big lie, ladies and gentlemen. And think about this.
Come on, Fat
Lord
Joe
Jamar
is a
told
Freemason.
black Americans
Come on,
not to
Fat Joe
support Fat
don't
Joe.
care about
Well, what does that mean?
us, the
That's
FBA,
taking away
but
money from his
he did
family and
say
his
nigga.
pockets. So why would there be so much
Come on,
separation
man.
and division if we're all brothers and sisters?
What did
This is
Fat
why we
Joe
follow this
done
religion.
for the so-called black
Now,
and the Puerto
shout out
Rican
to all my
community?
Haitian brothers and sisters,
I want,
Haitian
I
brothers and
want you to
sisters. You know,
answer my question.
tribe of Levi. So basically, they're telling
He
you
had done
that
the
the
so-called
Hebrews
black
are
and the
Ephraim.
Puerto Rican
You're of
community.
the tribe of Levi. But that's all a lie.
You're not
That's
gonna
a lie,
answer. You're definitely
right?
gonna answer my
Tribe
damn
of
question.
Benjamin, all the West Indies, all the West
Come
Indies
on,
black,
us.
anybody that's black from the West Indies,
Yeah,
you
they
are
so-called
considered the
black,
tribe of Benjamin according to the black
so-called
Hebrew
black,
Israelite religion.
so-called black,
But
so-called black.
the foundational black Americans, FBA, they don't see you as that.
Well,
They don't
they
see
do.
you as an
They do.
Israelite. They don't even see
I
you as a
know they
brother.
do.
They call
But you
you
don't
brother.
see that.
So what we have
You
in
don't
America
see
right
that.
now is a movement called FBA. The
Come
FBA
on.
movement
They like the Black Panther parties. But what I agree, it all depends what it has something to do with us. The other stuff, I may disagree. Come on, come on. You are a Freemason Asian. You are a plant. You're a damn plant. No, you're the problem. That's why I said I'm going to raise chat. Rego is the big problem. Like Giz said on Street Fighter, you're a big fool. You're a big fool, Rego. You're the damn big fool. Come on. And you accuse Baba of saying the N word. He didn't say a hard ER. He said it with a GA. No, you're causing problems. You're causing more problems to get them upset and attack you. And you're telling one of them, and you're telling them one of them, well, he's doing a stream which says, go to titles. No, you're the lost sheep. Come on. You already became a problem for decades. Despi- Despicable, pitiful. You're despicable. Of course, then the Daffy Duck. People call Link despicable. Yeah, or Link despicable. Either the two. Bloodline, us. Tribe, us. You understand that you got it all twisted. No, that chart is on your own. We are people of the book that you twisted. Yeah, we went to the train last. Yeah, he did. The cracker did. Yeah, the cracker had ripped off our so-called black women. Yeah, it's really. Come on, the so-called African king had agreed with the slave masters, which I took you these honkies. Yeah, and it still goes on to this interracial beauty still go on. 6600 years ago, we did not even have that. It was dark, brown, and bright, and also all colors, especially green. If you have green suns, your skin will be green. Even Dragon Ball Z was telling the truth on the Mammoth saga, and Dene was explaining clearly about the three suns. The original origins is neo-melanin beings. That's the true origins. You're not coming from the heart. You're coming from the wicked. You're a so-called black cracker. You're a tab. You're a so-called. You're lucky that you're not a so-called black woman, because so-called black women is you need to repent. I need to repent too. But we all need to repent. But you need to repent more than me, because your mind's so fucked. Your mind is so fucked up. It's accurate. But you saying it's not accurate. We are trying to. Well, Cyrus, the eye singing I was our culture before they made it. They made it to mine. Come on. Our magic, they took our magic and made our magic to mine. Come on. They stole. And I'm mad. I'm freaking mad at you. I'm mad at you. 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 Come on, you worse than me, buddy. I ain't gonna be the only one with a clean server. All of the super black community will talk about Lego once again. It's been multiple times. Come on, you disrespecting our lineage, our true voice, our true heritage, our true tribes.
gotta post insults in order to be heard.
Come on,
You're gonna go on
they
my
will
block list,
insult
and
you.
nobody's gonna
Oh,
know who
block
you are.
this. Oh,
And
no, no, who you are,
right,
bro.
so hey,
What?
we're gonna get up on
What?
out of here. We're gonna do
What?
more videos on this topic, but I gotta warn more people. I gotta go live
Oh, you
about
want
this so that
to
more people can
bamboozle
hear it. Because
people.
I don't want to be
That's
one
what
of
you're
these guys.
doing.
Hey, like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all have a great day. Ringo
Oh
TV,
my God.
I'm out of here. Peace.
Oh my freaking God. Hold on. Let me pin the link. This is gonna be a golden moment. I'm going to do what Diddy did. Let me remember myself.
Oh, I fucking hate Franco. I fucking hate Franco. Franco is the black devil. Franco is misleading our people. Ooh. Damn. I hate Franco. I hate him when he misled us so-called black people, put us on a damn ground. I hate Franco. I fucking hate Franco. Oh, 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 oh. That's my moment right there. Next time, I will go super loud, Ringo, because you don't give a damn about us. All you could give a damn about is them damn crackers. That's what Ringo there gives a damn about. That's what Ringo gives a freaking damn about. Wash out waves, wash out Wallow, wash out the rest of y'all who supports Mr. Uncle Tom Ruckus reactions. Wash out. Wash the freak out. Wash the freak out. He can do what he wants, but he's gonna let them crackers have the power. He ain't the only one. He ain't the only one. Mm-mm-mm. He's definitely not the only one. And also, fuck Dark Horse and that guy up north, Commercial Cracker. Oh, I forgot to say, Cracker Horse and Cracker, the racist gamer, and Who else? Who freaking else like them? Who freaking else called Winslow? Oh, that's a so-called black crack. Rango too. Y'all meant to be friends and homies. You have Rango. You have something going on with Pastor B. Diddy Wells. Straightway. The leader, founder of Straightway. You have something going on with Pastor Wells. Do it again, Rango. Do it again. Do it again. Do the fuck again, Rango. Do the keep misleading us. I'm still gonna make chapters. I'm gonna cook your black ass. Continue doing the shit. Keep doing it. Cause this is the wrongest path. Brainwaves and Waddle should have corrected you and put you aside. You should not be saying it. It looks bad for our so-called black people. Keep doing it. I don't know if I'm gonna discontinue, but I'm still have to continue. Let me catch you. Keep saying this over and over. Let me catch you to keep talking about us and put us second class and third class. It's gonna be more chapters. I am not going to stop until you stop dissing us. But you're not gonna do that. You ain't the only one. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Cause you're gonna run away. But you're not. You're definitely not. You're definitely not. You're definitely not gonna change. You're definitely not gonna freaking change. On the chart as falls. It's a cult. It's a freaking cult. We don't get along. We defy. We don't have the same ideology. Do it again. Do the frick again. I ain't playing, yo. I want Ringo to be on your panel so I can destroy and eat him alive. Don't play with me, son. Don't play with me, Ringo. Don't play with me. Don't play with me, son. Don't play with me. I feel better now. Yeah, what I mean by that is he's not going to take it. He's going to walk away because he can't take the heat. He can't take the so-called black militant heat. He's going to get what's coming. He's definitely going to get what's coming to him. Mm-mm-mm.
gonna play music until 4 o'clock. Because Dee Dee wants to join. Let me share screen.
for the battle, prepare for the war. Prepare for the real street fighter blood war. The third of the third, prepare for block war. Your life's on the line, so I'ma take yours. So who wanna blood dance with me? Leave your body wrapped up or you really street fantasy. In the swing, you best when you wear. You need pride, you ain't playing with it. Going on one year, you know you get finished. Round one round, just come and get with it. Your heart ain't cold, so forget about the power. Battle this out, then it's gonna go a tower. Pay the price that you couldn't deal with. Cold blooded killers, I'ma lock down quick. Got no time to waste, you taking time on. You riding me like a star in the arm. That's the first move, so that's what I'm gonna do. Trapped in the water, street riding through. The third chapter, so much is gonna be. They trapped in the water, street riding through. Pick the first move, so much is gonna be. Trapped in the water, street riding through. The third chapter, so much is gonna do. Trapped in the water, well, rock what you got, block what you shot. Another chapter, what you get, what you got. Block warriors in a fight, choose one. The best of the best will be the champion. Whose world is this after all? Capcom who will lock down forever, y'all. This the 10 team through violence and death. Feels all respect, some ain't ready yet. For the fact that they ain't ready, step up with what you got. For the body's been ready, take your regular spot. So what? Calm down before it's too late to stop. Trying to front like you was king of the block. Step too close, kid, you might get shot. Only one man does, going straight to the top. Four ball smooth, your whole game get blocked. Only one man does, going straight to the top. Yo, if we're about to get your life and something to wish you with it. It's too late, you got it wrong when you wish you would it. Past the first stage, you thought you could live it. Now you soon realize you never could survive it. You dealing with cold-blooded assassinated. If that anybody let it go for alligators. You need to put your power over here, it's going straight up. It's either you push start and try to get it later. It's all about the confidence when they don't cater. You got no time to talk to the play haters. I guess we'll block kick, we need nobody critical. Talk about real street dogs and big criminals. Now you helpless on the way to the finish. Where you can practice, come back and get with it. Forget about my hits, the sky's no limit. Anything this is all it is fitted. So what's it gonna do? Trapped in the world, you got free. Put a chapter, so what's it gonna do? Trapped in the world, you got free. Everything on the truth, so what's it gonna do? Trapped in the world, you got free. Put a chapter, so what's it gonna do? Trapped in the world, you got free.